Sorry. Direct primary is the best. That can favor democracy, which we say government of the people, by the people, for the people. So that people will have a direct participation in making decisions to make a popular choice. But when you look at it through the economic angle, the claim of political parties that they may not necessarily be economically buoyant to using a direct primary, they may be right. But if they decide to do it that way, they know how best to source for money and get the money. The advantage of delegates to the aspirants and the political party lord is that they can easily be bought over. Because in Nigeria, the best juicy position usually goes to the highest bidder. So where money dictates the tone, it will favor those that are economically buoyant among the aspirants in the way we go about the power game of using money to have our way. But the best for Nigeria is that we should allow people to have direct say in making the best choice. Nigeria markets falsehood. They prefer falsehood to have their ways in place of truth. And that is why most of the time we hide under the technicalities, most especially of the law. It happened in a state, the killing of the NSAS protesters. And from the video seen by all, the killers are from the federal might, or they are soldiers. But unfortunately, the structure on ground does not even favor legality. The structures in Nigeria are built upon the premise of falsehood. Its weakness is giving us a lot of headache today because things are not really going the way they should go, and the innocent ones are always daily being persecuted in Nigeria, most especially when their case involves the money bags, the influentials, those who really have the money to throw about. Regarding this, during the lifetime of Khalifa Emi, he will do his own independent judicial process in getting to the facts of case. I could remember in 1978 when 8 of us were killed by the overzealous security agents then. Government eventually put everything under carpets, but Khalifa Emi was able to conduct independent. He involved people, the market women, involved people from the town, and involved the students. All of us testified for posterity to judge. Even if we are not allowed to see truth prevailing over matters. So in this particular case, it is not the blood that matters to people. It is not the children that were killed in cold blood that matters to people, or the power that be. Unfortunately, Kiyamo disappointed a lot of the youth because they rested so much on his wisdom. Now that is now championing the cause of the technical illegality challenge. It's unfortunate that these children will just die like fowls, like that. Why is it that the federal government is not taking it up? Instituting their own independent judicial panel to investigate and come out. But even when you see the way Mr. President was addressing the issue in 2020, you will pity the parents of the children. It was as if nothing had really happened. And people, most especially parents, were so much chilled into fear. Is this the Nigeria of our dream? So these are the things. I could remember in 1992 or so, or was it 1992 or 1997? During the Shagamu imbroglio between the traditional religionists, even an independent body that comes out with something, whether tangible or intangible. And it is common sense dictates that we should allow everybody to really see, look into the outcome of the panel. We should appreciate the sittings. And we should be able to appreciate the need that there is a kind of deterrence on ground for such a Black Tuesday or so not to happen again. This is not Soweto, where the whites then were killing the innocent children on apartheid issue. Today there is no more apartheid in South Africa. But the record is there. And at a time there was a panel looking into the case to reconcile the warring groups. The whites themselves regretted the actions. And this is where I have a lot of respect for these people. So if South Africa is now ahead Nigeria today, in terms of everything, it is because of the wrong structures we put on ground that we are really suffering under our own roof. Used to innocent people being punished. We are used to people being cheated. We are used to people being trampled upon with respect to their fundamental human rights in Nigeria. We are used to unemployment. We are used to all ugly things in life. And so, where poverty is already eating deep into the lives of the people, I believe our leaders are going to use Joseph Stalin style, whereby he plucked naked a hen, profusely bleeding, and after dropping, he began to drop what? Combs, and the hen began to follow him from down to where he sat down. And he instructed the Congress, this is how to rule the people. You deny them of access to good things of life, so that you are able to oppress them and rule them without problem. And this had been the game in Nigeria. So whether that 2023 is still feasible, why the children, why the youth are refusing the governor of the state, Lagos State, is because he could not guarantee their safety. And I believe it's because money has not gone round well. So that is Nigeria for you. We are living a life of deceit in Nigeria. We are under the mercy of our oppressors. It's unfortunate that new colonialism is far more harsh than colonialism in our case. This is a case of a black man wanting to behave a white man. That is our problem. Look at our economy, importation driven. Importation driven. So nothing is really going on well in Nigeria. And I believe when it is 2023, you'll be surprised that a lot of people will identify and seeing their differences, and there will be another election. So that is just a surprise. So what we are now saying is that when are we really going to have that changes? When are we going to have the real change? Maybe if we are able to change our attitude towards God, He will help us to change game in Nigeria to a better state. So that's just it. So there is nothing really surprising about what is happening. Worst things that were happening before now. It's a continuity of ugly phenomena. So we hope one day it will stop. And the government we have in Nigeria, because since 1960 we've been having government of the seat. That's number one. The issue of subsidy, even after removing what they want to remove, they will still tell us, other government will come up and say we are still subsidizing. So it's a game of deceit on the unity of Nigerians. So people, reasonable people are no more taking with seriousness the government's affairs, because they do contradict themselves most of the time. And let us look at the issue of that midday meal funding. Everybody knows that it's a fraudulent thing, that they only create an avenue for some people to have their own share. The children themselves are not really enjoying it. Students that were at their home, in their homes, they say they are giving them subsidy. How do you do that? So one continues to wonder whether there is any economic expert among them. When you look at the areas of giving 5,000 to people, and you look in the direction of the purchasing power of the naira itself, that 5,000 naira is a ruse, is a fluke. It's not going to have any impact on anybody. It's a way of wasting that money, or a way of siphoning that money into some pockets of some influential people, so that they will continue to say it's the masses that are having 5,000. What is 5,000 today? After 5,000 has nothing to do with the survival need of the people, whether the poorest or the poor. It's a way of swindling us. It's a way of making millions or billions out of using the masses as a cover again. So there is nothing there. So all we ask them to do, they are shying away from doing it. We said that Nigeria is having artisan-driven economy, whereby it is only TVET and vocations that can solve this particular problem. But instead of that, they are building more universities to boost their names, not necessarily to help education. So these are the areas where you need to pity Nigeria. And when you look at people now agitating here, agitating there, it is their right to agitate. If government is very serious, they need to mend their ways. Let's start from the 7 points agenda, reform agenda of the NSAS peaceful protesters. The constitutional issue is there. Nobody is doing anything on how best to really effect some necessary changes for our attitude to change. You look at even education, 7.29% is nothing to fund education in Nigeria. Even if you go as much as 26%, it may not really solve our problem. But they prefer to spend the money in an areas of chaos because it is in insurgents, it is in hiding under the cover of funding the cause of insecurity. For us to be peaceful and have to have safe and secure environment. That's where they are hiding of poorest of the poor. To the extent that the whole world is now saying Nigeria is the capital of poverty. So I don't know whether these people that are in government have any shame at all, or do they have conscience at all. So their so-called economic formula is very, very nauseating and embarrassing to the whole world. Nigeria doesn't need 5,000 for the poorest of it. There are more effective channels through which we can address the issue of poverty, but government is not following that area. The so-called skill acquisition development programs in our schools. We beg government that double the amount you are giving all these graduates. Help them save half for a people's bank that will specifically address that areas of loaning those people that must have learned some arts, some skills, for them to become job creators, so that other people will be able to share from the largesse of their efforts. But what are we really experiencing? We are experiencing nothing from them. So it's not an issue per se. It's the usual traditional way. Poverty indices in Nigeria, historical record. 1, in 1966, it rose to 15%. In the 1983, after MPN regime, it rose to 20.8%. When it came to all this military thing, 42%, 54%, 65%. In 1999, it rose to 70%, according to economic experts. So we've never been, it's retrogressive in Nigeria. And that is why you are having increasing profile of poverty. So you could imagine how much would have risen under this particular government. So corruption in Nigeria is endemic. Institutional indiscipline is very feasible. Everybody can see. So what are we now saying? It's like a farmer going to farm, planting some seeds, like corns or whatever, with some hens or birds, picking it as it goes. So what do we expect at the end of the day? Forget about harvesting period. So that is the major problem we are having. So Nigeria should return back to God, most especially the poor ones. Don't deceive yourself, don't deceive God. Be faithful in the church, in the mosque, so that by the time you say Yahweh, or you say Allah, or you say, oh God, you have results. So we are shortchanging ourselves, because just a voice on Sunday can change a government, a bad government, can install a good government. Just on Friday, a cry to Allah during Juma service can change the fortunes of this country to the better. But even religious people are so deceitful today. A lot of sinful things are happening in the houses of God. The sacredness of the church or mosque has gone down into profanity. So the environment is fraught with fraud. And that is why there is death or spiritual intervention. So if we are able to really work on that area, whoever is in power can be installed or removed. That's Quran 3 verse 26 to 27. So that is, God is the only resort. But God is not there for insincere minds. James 5 verse 16 says, only the prayer of the just will be accepted. Quran 30 verse 14 says, only the prayer of the sincere ones will be accepted. How many just or sincere people do you have in Nigeria today? So we are shooting ourselves in the leg. We are shortchanging ourselves. And that is why all these people in government, they will continue to use religion as a cover-up to really worship Satan in the real sense of it, so that the oppressors will continue to grow stronger and the oppressed will continue to die. So that is the situation in Nigeria today.
Thank you very much.